Welcome to the Mike Harts Trucking Podcast, where positivity meets transportation. Here's your host, Mike Harts.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mike Harts Trucking Podcast. I'm super excited about today's show. As always, please share and like this podcast. I think in this industry, to hear positive people and positive speakers, it's a rarity. So we want to promote positivity in this space. And I want to just start out by encouraging anyone who's going through something in the trucking industry. Sometimes in the trucking industry, we go through personal things in our personal life and situations, and we feel like we don't have time to breathe. And I want to give a shout out and an awareness break for mental health. If anybody's struggling with anything with mental health inside the trucking industry, maybe you've been working your fingers to the bone, and you've had tragedies in your life and you haven't even been able to dissect them or break them down. I want you to take some time. A day or two is not going to hurt. Your drivers are going to be fine. The truckers are going to be fine. The industry is going to go on. You need a break yourself. So I wanted to encourage everybody, whoever needs a break in this industry, to take care of themselves. Because like I always say, when you fall out or something happens, all everybody's going to say is, you should have rested. You should have took a break. So I want to encourage everybody now, anybody struggling with mental health issues, or you just need a break, I want to encourage you to take that break now. Trucking is a part of our life. It's a part of our bloodline. It's a part of us. But when it begins to consume us and take things away from our personal life, and we've all been to that point before, where it does that to us, sometimes we have to step back and relax and take a break. But anyways, let's get into today's show. Today we have an awesome guest. His name is Ryan Van Brocklen. Ryan has become a cool friend of mine these last few weeks on LinkedIn. We kind of connected and began to chop it up a little bit. And I'm really excited to have Ryan on today's show. He's a self-proclaimed lover of God, a husband, a dad. He loves wrestling and football. It's football season. It's also wrestling season, so that's exciting. He's a former truck driver. Now he's delving into the trucking brokerage industry. So I want to dive into his journey. And right now I want to welcome Ryan to the stage. Welcome, my brother. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm blessed. Doing well.
Yes.
How's your week going so far?
Oh, the week is great. I mean, we're moving some freight around. We're making some money, staying. We're alive, right? So
That's right.
We woke up this morning, so it's a good day.
That's right. I love your story, Ryan, and I love connecting with you. And again, thank you for being so open, for being on the show, and getting your feet wet in the podcasting game. So
Yeah.
we're excited to have you. How's the transition? How's the transition been from truck driver to brokerage? We don't. It seems like we don't shed light on a lot of the truckers transitioning into the office. How's that been? Do you like it? Give us some pros and cons.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, I love being out on the road. In your intro there, it's very important to take a break, right? So when I was out on the road, when I first started driving, I was a company driver, so I wasn't making a lot of money. So staying out on the road was, something that needed to happen, because it was important that you drove over the weekend to get that Monday delivery in and get those miles, over the weekend for that paycheck coming up on that Friday. So I'd be out 2-3 weeks at a time, and sometimes, when I would stay over, I stayed at a truck stop on I-95 in Emporia, Virginia, Sadler's truck stop. Great people. I talked to the owners. They're big into NASCAR, and they had a hotel right across the street. And sometimes I would just, get out the truck, go stay in the hotel. It was a whole lot. I love sleeping in my truck because primarily I drove reefer, so that white noise and the rattling of the truck kept me, gave me a little bit, background noise and stuff like that to rest well. It helped. When you have complete silence, it's hard for me to sleep in complete silence. So being from New York, it's never quiet around here. I'm not in the city, but I'm upstate. So, but there's still, I'm in a city, so there's still lights and sirens all night long. So definitely need that noise to sleep well.
I love that, Ryan. Can you speak to, I don't think we talk about this enough. Can you speak to the drivers who who feel burnout out there, but they know they have to do A, B, and C to hit that Friday cutoff or that Monday cutoff. When you get you turn your trips in, or you transflow them, or you fax them in, and you get that cutoff. Can you talk to the drivers who feel like taking a break? Is that all right to do, or should they keep pushing it? Should they let themselves burn out? Can you kind of speak, since you have so much knowledge about that?
Yeah, man. Definitely a mental break is always needed in any career. No matter what you're doing, sometimes you just need to get away. And that's another thing. Like in my truck, when I ran as an owner operator, I had my own carrier authority. I had a microwave in my truck. I had a refrigerator in my truck. I had an air fryer in my truck. I had everything in my truck. I did not ever need to leave my truck. But you do need to get out and meet other people and talk to other people, because that's where you're going to be able to take that mental break, right? And in the industry, you see a lot of truck drivers, guys and girls, are introverts, so a lot of them don't want to talk to other people. But when you really peel back that layer of a truck driver, they'll talk to you forever, and they say that they're introverts, but they're really not introverts. Some of the best people I've met in my life are truck drivers. And I have a buddy who's out of Ohio. He lives between Ohio and Iowa, and we met, and we just kicked it off right away. It was great. We were both company drivers, so we ended up being roommates in the hotel while we were waiting for our drug tests and physicals and all that stuff to come back, and going through that orientation, because you go in and they give you a bag lunch, and they say it's a bag lunch, but it's really a granola bar and an apple that was picked last year. So and it's not a paid orientation with most of these mega carriers. So your only person that's there with you, because you're away from your family, is your roommate. So get along with that guy or girl. I mean, usually it's going to be a guy. They don't want to put a guy and a girl in a room together, because that could cause some issues. But so I was roommates with a guy, and he he started as a driver with the company that we were with, and then he moved on to another company, and I went on and did my own thing, and still to this day we talk. Just about life. He went and got his own carrier authority, and he's bought his own truck now, and he's leased on with KLLM running reefer freight, but he bought his own reefer trailer. He's just waiting for that transition to go do his own thing, and that leap of faith, and making it happen. But, I mean, the big thing that kept me going in my truck when I was out there was, I had a picture of my family right on my dashboard, and I also had like a little photo album, just like a wallet-sized photo album. I'd FaceTime the kids and stuff like that. I have 4 kids at home. My wife's a nurse, so the burnout definitely happens with her in the nursing industry too. So, that mental health is definitely something that you got to take care of.
That's right. That's awesome. Ryan, can you talk about? I'm a big believer that I think you're there to do a job in a trucking company, but I also have appreciated the trucking companies that don't want you to hide your faith. Like, you don't have to be a different person inside the office, or a different person, right? We're there to do a job, and we're there to be professional. But I think faith is a part of so many people in this industry. And this is one of the industries where you can kind of, wear your faith on your sleeve if you do a good job, right? You don't want to be, preaching to people and doing an awful job, right? You're at work. You're a witness at work. You're a witness at home. You're a witness wherever you go. And I think the trucking industry is one of the most perfect industries for you to share your faith while doing a job.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of drivers, a lot of dispatchers, there's a lot of people of faith in this industry that sometimes they get discouraged, or sometimes they don't know how to utilize their faith. They're one person at home, and then they get inside the office, or inside the brokerage, or inside wherever they work, if they work from home. And it's such a negative industry that they're torn down. They start speaking negatively. And then they go home and they're a different person. Can you kind of talk about what your faith means to you working in an industry like this?
Yeah. So, I mean, as a like a W-2 employee, like, or a company driver, or a W-2 employee in a brokerage, I could see where that would cause some issues, because you want to get promoted, right? You want to make more money, and you don't want to rub somebody the wrong way. There's a couple of things that, that they say are frowned upon to talk in the office. And, one of them is religion. The other is politics, because it's such a divide, right? Between the right and the left. And there's no need for it. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all just human beings, right? And no matter who we believe in or what we believe or who we vote for, we still have to go to work at the end of the day, right? So I don't try to push my faith on anybody. I was baptized. I made my first communion, confirmation, married in a Roman Catholic church. My kids are all baptized in a Roman Catholic church. My son's in third grade, so he made his first communion last year. Both of my boys are, third grade and first grade. They both go to religion on Sundays. Do we go to church as much as we should as a family? No. I mean, I don't think anybody goes to church as much as they should or they want to. But you don't need to be in the house to be able to, pray or ask for, anything from the Lord, on my truck that I owned, it says right above the driver's side door and the passenger's side door, Jesus is my Lord. And when I pulled into shippers and receivers, they used to say they love that, right below that, on the sleeper part of the truck is where the name of my company, my MC number, my DOT number is. I believe I've uploaded a picture of my truck onto LinkedIn. So if you want to go on and check it out, you can see it's right there. It's a big red Volvo. And it says, Jesus is my Lord. So I wasn't brought up Catholic. I wasn't brought up as any denomination. My grandfather passed away in 2008, and with pancreas and liver cancer. And then that's when, as an adult, I was 18, 19 years old at the time. I decided that I wanted to go to church and I wanted to be baptized. So I was baptized as an adult. And I went through the Roman Catholic Church. It's called the RICA program, I believe. And my wife did the same thing. She was baptized as an adult and made her first communion, confirmation, all that. It was a great ceremony. It was all at an Easter vigil, candlelights in the church, and we go to a big old Irish Celtic church. It's a beautiful church. Cherubs everywhere. It's great. I don't know if I've uploaded wedding photos to LinkedIn, but I can post one of those because the church is it's amazing. But yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the truck stops out there, they'll have like little churches in them, with a pastor there that you can go and talk to, and some of them have barbershops and stuff. I definitely think that truck drivers should utilize those resources more. And if anybody wants to talk, I'm always up for a conversation. I'll talk to anybody. I talked to a carrier for 45 minutes yesterday. Didn't even book a load with them. Just talking about life in the industry and just hanging out.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And piggybacking off that, on this platform, we're firm believers of trying to be a positive voice in the trucking industry. We talk about analytics so much. We talk about economic downturn so much. We talk about how bad the industry is. There's so many people. Let me give you the report on this week. Let me tell you the fuel prices. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you that. We hear so much of that. If you look down LinkedIn, if you look at YouTube, if you look at Instagram, it's a lot of people speaking about how it is in trucking, and there's not a lot of positivity. And on this platform, we like to shine a voice on positivity. If you could leave our viewers with one thing of how you try to stay positive in this industry, even if you've got a road carrier you put a load on, or even if something goes wrong with an insurance claim or whatever, how do you still find that grounding in positivity in this industry when you hear so much negativity all around? I'm sure you see it too. I'm sure you read about it. How do you stay positive?
It's crazy how much negativity really is in the industry. Carriers hate brokers hate carriers. How do you have time for that, right? Between family and everything else that you got going on in life, I don't have time for it. I mean, I was a carrier, I'm a broker now. I know what everybody's going through. I've bid on a lot of lanes and have not won them because the rates suck. But I will never bid on a lane and submit it to a shipper where a carrier would not make money. That's just not, it's not my style. If the shipper is not able to pay the rate of a decent wage to a truck, then they're not my customer. And that's fine with me. There's, what is it, a $9 trillion industry, they say, right? And if you take every broker that's in the world, in the United States, right? So we're just talking about domestic transportation in the United States. I do some international stuff too as well. So domestic transport in the United States is a $9 trillion industry, right? Logistics. It's crazy. And there's brokers and dispatchers and people who are in this industry that don't even live in this country because the industry is so big, right? So there's so much opportunity that people from other countries are working in our logistics system. Like it's wild to think of that, right? So what other industry is like that? I mean, truck driving is the number one profession. If you take every profession, right, every profession across the board, what do you do? Oh, I'm a nurse. Oh, I'm a cop. I'm an accountant. I'm a lawyer. The number one profession, the largest workforce in the United States, is truck drivers. So if truck drivers actually stuck together and loved one another, we wouldn't go through any of this stuff that we're going through now. And everybody's saying the market's bad. I parked my truck. I said, you know what? Park it. My truck is sitting in my driveway right now because the market is bad, right? Everything has gone up for as far as costs for a truck driver, except for the pay rate. You have these mega carriers that are, and the government gets behind them too, right? And they say, oh, there's a shortage of drivers. There's a shortage of drivers. There's a shortage of drivers. No, there's a shortage of people willing to pay drivers a livable wage. That's what there's a shortage of. Because I can name 30 people right now off the top of my head that have an active CDL Class A license with multiple endorsements, with no CSA points on their record, not even an accident or anything, that are sitting at home or working at McDonald's. You know what I mean? It's absolutely insane that you can't pay a living wage. When I started as a company driver, my first run, I got my check. I ran from somewhere in Pennsylvania down to South Carolina, right? And then from South Carolina up to Nashville. I got my pay settlement. I looked at the thing, 32 cents a mile. 32 cents a mile. You do the math on an hourly clock, an hours of service clock, 11 hours a day, right? The maximum speed on that truck is set at 63 miles an hour because it's got speed limiter. 66 if you're on cruise control, but it's adaptive cruise control. So if a car gets a certain distance in front of you, you can't go 66. The truck is going to slow it down. So most of the time I ran my truck on cruise control to get that extra 3 miles an hour. But, you're talking about speed limiters now. The FMCSA put speed limiters on all these trucks. It's just going to be a sheep following a sheep. You think traffic is bad now in some of these metro areas. It's only going to get crazier. But it's at 32 cents a mile, running 500 miles a day. How much are you making? You're not making a lot. I mean, we pull up a calculator real quick. Let's see. 32 cents a mile. 32 cents a mile times 500 miles, $160 in a day. And that's over an 11-hour time period. So you're making $14.54 an hour, right? Minimum wage in New York State is $15 an hour.
And there's no, Ryan, I know we have watchdog groups in our industry, but there's no real, as far as in this free market, in this trucking free market, there's no regulation as far as, I'm not talking about government regulation. I'm talking about regulation as far as in a moral way, in a good ethical business standpoint, to keep anybody accountable for this, because we get an upturn in the industry. Everybody's flooding in, and for 600 miles, somebody is asking for the market's up. We need $5 a mile. We need this. Well, and then truck drivers are happy, right? We're happy in that. And then when the downturn comes, brokers are trying to go, well, you had it your way for 2 years straight. Now this is what it's going to be. It's under $2, way under $2 a mile.
Listen,
So,
the brokers that say that are not the ones that you want to work with, right?
no.
That are no good.
We're talking about the stereotypes, right? We're talking about what we see on social media, the stereotypes.
Yeah.
And we see all these different extremes from one pendulum swing to the other. And we've got no middle ground to regulate the good guys from the bad guys. So we've got people on social media, all brokers, they're all ripoffs, they're all this, and then all carrier this. Don't use these group of carriers, and don't do this because everyone from their company is awful. I've had terrible experience, and there's some poor guy at that carrier saying, "I've never done anything wrong." What?
That's crazy. Yeah, exactly. So I'll tell you a true story.
All these different extremes, and it breeds, bad toxicity and bad blood within the industry, where there's a lot of untrust. There's a lot of, well, when it's our turn, we're going to get you, and when it's our turn, there's so many good people in this industry that nobody has to get anybody. We have to find good relationships. We have to find good carriers to work with, good companies, good brokerages, and it has to be a better balance in good faith, because like you're saying, there's so many good people out there that aren't trying to get anybody. There's some good, but what you said was important, Ryan. You said, I don't take loads, I don't take lanes from customers that are going to rip carriers off. That simple ethical principle would go so far.
Absolutely. And everybody thinks that brokers make a ton of money. And during COVID, I was in a truck during COVID. And did I take trips in my truck that I was getting paid $15 a mile? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But it was supply and demand. It wasn't I could get those rates because those rates were those rates.
That's right.
At that time is when all the truck drivers in Canada said, "Hey, we're not driving our trucks," and they were protesting.
Yep.
Well, I live in upstate New York, and there happens to be freight that goes into Canada. Yep. I have a passport. I have my COVID vaccine card that they required. Mm-hmm. So guess what? I'm getting paid $15 a mile.
Yep.
During COVID, I paid off my truck and my trailer.
Wow.
So my truck and my trailer are paid off. That's why they're parked right now, because I don't need to run them, right? Is my authority active? No, because I'm not going to pay the insurance.
Yeah.
$2,700 a month.
Oh, no.
To let my truck park, stay parked, So my authority is inactive. But my authority doesn't go anywhere. It's still there. Yeah. As soon as I get new insurance, it's back active again. So this has happened already to me because I parked the truck before, and I said, "Hey, I'm not driving anymore. Mm-hmm. I want to stay home for 2 months." Well, I'm not going to pay $2,700 a month in insurance to stay home.
Yeah.
There's different things you can do to keep it active and do things that aren't really ethical, like put my pickup truck on my authority and leave it there, because it's a commercial auto policy. So no matter what you do, no matter what truck goes on there, it's still a commercial auto policy. So it's brokers during that same time that I was making $15 a mile, they were making, a higher percentage margin too. They don't make a per mile rate. They would make, they make a margin, a gross profit margin. So, and the market made it that way, right? So we were hauling essential products. There was no hours of service. If I had a load of toilet paper, canned food, or a load of water in my trailer, I had no hours of service. I could drive as much as I wanted.
Yeah.
I was exempt from hours of service because there was an issue, right? There was a problem in our supply chain, and who had to fix it?
Yeah.
The truck drivers, right? Nobody else could fix that.
Yep.
When there's a problem, who do you call? You call a truck driver, and they'll get it done, right? And that's the thing, is the reason why I came out of the truck is we had our fourth kid. So I have 2 boys, 2 girls.
Congrats, that's awesome.
My oldest is 8 years old. My youngest is 1 year old.
Oh, snap.
So I came out the truck. I was dispatching my own truck. I had a driver in my truck. I was dispatching it, and I said, I got all this extra time on my hands now because I'm not driving. I'm home. At first, when I came home, I went and I drove a heavy wrecker, and I was doing that for a little while. Did some other local gigs, and I drove a school bus for the kids' school for a little bit. Just a bunch of different little odds and ends, and I just couldn't find what I enjoyed. Right, I didn't feel like I was getting, any enjoyment out of it. I didn't need it to do it for the money. I didn't need to, I didn't need to work, but I needed to occupy my time because my mental health. Right, so when you sit around and you soak in your sorrows and stuff like that, and you feel like you have no purpose in life, you have no reason to get out of bed. You have to do something with your life. So, I put my truck back on the road. I was dispatching my truck. I had extra time because after I dispatch my truck, I'm sitting around. I can't mow the lawn every single day. You know,
You can't.
I can't pick up every leaf as soon as it falls off the tree. You know what I mean? I can't. I've done chased the dogs around the whole yard and picked up all the poop. You know,
What's wrong with you, Ryan? You can't pick up every leaf when it falls.
Yeah. So I was like, I got to do something, and you know, I figured I'd do something in the industry that allowed me to work from home with a flexible schedule. So I said, hey, I'm going to do this freight brokering thing, and you know, it's been pretty good. I started in September of last year, and you know, we're making it happen in a market that everybody says you can't build relationships and you can't get freight. I'm doing it.
That's awesome.
So, you know, truck drivers out there, I love you guys and girls. If anybody wants to chat, you know, I'm open for a chat anytime.
Yeah. Can we get your before we go? Can we get your social media info? Where can we find you? Where can we?
Yeah, I'm super active on LinkedIn. That's the best way to get me. My name on LinkedIn is Ryan Van Brocklen. Just search it. I'm the only one. I think I actually have 2 profiles on there under my name. The other one, I lost that email. I don't have access to it. I need to have LinkedIn delete that. But the one that I'm active on, it's a picture of me at my wedding when I was thanking all my guests for being there. So it looks like I'm, you know, talking at a conference or something. But I was talking to a big crowd of people that were at our wedding. But yeah, anybody wants to reach out on LinkedIn, add me on LinkedIn. I connect with mostly everybody on LinkedIn. I have a Twitter, or formerly Twitter X, but I don't really use it. I believe that's Ryan _ Michael _. So Michael's my middle name. Hey. So we're yeah. So I'm on there, but not as active. I don't really do the Facebook thing. If you want to see bad stuff, go on Facebook. I'm over it. You know, when we cut the cable cord is when I cut the Facebook cord, really. The only reason why I'm still on Facebook is because of the photos and the memories that are on there. But I don't go by my real name on Facebook. So you won't find me on there. So LinkedIn and Twitter would be probably the best, but definitely LinkedIn.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for joining us today. I could talk to you for hours, brother. The conversation just flowed. We were planning on talking about a bunch of stuff, and we got to a few subjects, but I really enjoyed you. Thank you so much for being on the show. We'll post your links. Your links are on the screen now for those who want to connect with Ryan Van Brocklen. Please, he's an awesome man in this industry. I want to give a shout out to you, everybody who listens to this podcast, everybody who listens to this stuff online, everybody who connects with me on LinkedIn or X, Twitter, whatever you call it. Everybody who connects, shout out to you. Thank you so much for making this possible. When we started this platform, you know, you kind of put your ducks up in the air and hope some of them fly. And so we're happy that we get so many comments and so many emails of encouragement, how this platform is helping you. Thank you so much. Please share the good word. Please, again, we talked about mental health today and how important mental health is. So please take that break. Please spend more time with your family. Please spend more time with your friends. Please take that vacation, even if it's a staycation. Even if you have to go to the dollar store and decorate your house with $5 worth of stuff, it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. So take that break for yourself. I keep feeling like I need to say that. Take that break for yourself and be there for yourself, because when you fall out or something happens or you got a health problem, people will say you should have rested. And I'm telling you to rest right now before anything happens. So I want to encourage you today to keep this, let's keep this platform going. Again, connect with our awesome guest, Ryan Van Brocklen. And thank you so much for joining us.
As always, thank you for listening to the podcast. Our goal is to bring positivity to the transportation world. If you would like to bring Mike in as a speaker at your trucking company or conference, please email us at mikehartsnow@gmail.com or call us at 815-441-8234. Our website is mikeharts.com. Thanks so much for listening and be safe.